Hello, hello. Welcome back to Monday Motivations podcast, No More Excuses. This is Sandi Ballard, your hostess. And if you do not know about me, check out my website, www.growingforward.biz, B-I-Z. My email, sballard, as in Sandi Ballard, at growingforward.biz. And obviously Facebook, my business Facebook page is Growing Forward Success Coaching. And if you need to connect with me on LinkedIn, that's cool. I'd always love that. And if you're not getting these podcasts or updates in your email inbox, you can text all one word, Monday Motivate, to the number 22828. And I promise you will only be added to the Monday and Friday email unless you want to be added to events and workshops and things like that. So, that's it. Check me out if you haven't. So lists. Gosh, lists. Christmas lists, grocery lists, shopping lists, to-do lists, honey-do lists. I have clients do pros and cons lists about things and people, staff, all that, challenges, goals, things they want to do or think they want to do. Lists are everywhere. And, like it or not, they're a huge part of life. You know, why do we make them? So we don't forget things. We don't get sidetracked and chase a shiny object. And because I know when I've come home from the grocery store, if it's not on the list, I've probably forgotten it. Or I've gotten sidetracked and forgotten to pay attention to my list. You can also, during the process of making a list, you can realize a lot of things. Like who you already know, what you need, and what's missing. And then what? You realize things you may have forgotten. I've been working with people to make a list of people to invite to an event. And a lot of times there's resistance. And a lot of times it helps them, because it's helped me realize who I know that I just dismissed. I just don't think about it because we get so bogged down with all the contacts and all the things. So now that you understand why last week in the podcast I had you make a list, think about it. And did you make the list? Make a list of what's missing and what you need in life and business so you can generate progress and succeed. That's the thing, is we don't make a daily list or a weekly list of those things, what's missing and what we need. So hopefully, if you did do that exercise last week, it helped you. And if you haven't, because maybe you didn't understand why you needed to make a list, or you kept it in your head, maybe you didn't want to, or maybe you didn't have the time, you need to pause this podcast and do that now. Make a list of what's missing, what you need to succeed in life and business, okay? Then you can email me, sballard@growingforward.biz, and tell me what's on your list. And don't worry, not many people do things I suggest to them the first time. And clearly I've heard I'm being too nice about it. So, what did I hear and have learned for years in my own life, but over the years of working with clients about what's missing? Well, last week, the example I mentioned in the podcast and in the text about the podcast was organization. So do you need help clearing out things or cleaning up? We tend to throw things into a room or clog up a corner, put it down in the basement, put it in the garage. We have so much crap in our minds. How much we just try to keep in our minds. That's why you make a list. We don't know what to do with it. The item, the thing, the thought. We don't know how to categorize it. We don't know how to let go of it, or how they actually will fit into our lives. So what do? We put it away. Get to it later. Think about it later. Do it later. And I'm talking way beyond a messy desk. But, my messy desk tends to mean I'm a little scattered. So when I start feeling a little anxious or overwhelmed, I'll take everything off my desk, actually wipe it down, and I start filing things, throwing away things, and categorizing and putting them in order, and it really helps. I also heard an example I was sent was obviously accountability. As some of you know, I have monthly accountability groups. Some of the, accountability, it's probably due to the messy lives and minds, not understanding how to prioritize, not having healthy boundaries and expectations, which I've talked about many times, just not knowing how to take the first step. And then the more literal stuff, bookkeeping. People need help with bookkeeping, thinking you can do it yourself or that you can't afford to hire someone. Well, then there's that dreaded marketing. Even if you're in marketing, when I had my marketing firm, what was the last thing I did? Marketed myself. I networked all the time, so that was part of marketing. But, what else can you do? But marketing, a lot of times, it's okay. You're not a marketer. You're an architect. You're a chef. You are an optometrist, whatever you are, you're great at that. It doesn't mean you're great at marketing. And that's one of the things you have to think about and be okay with, and realizing what's missing and what you need help with. And marketing, again, is one of the things like bookkeeping. You think you can do it, or that you can't afford to hire it out. And doing it all. Afraid to ask for help. Who or how to ask. The perception that you signed up for it, you should know how to do it. You should be able to do it all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this world has more than one person in it, more than one profession, more than one type of talent. And it's meant to be collaborative. And an example of collaboration recently came from an event I've had once. I'm doing quarterly, Taboo. It's a luncheon for women. The first one was in March. And it kind of just started coming about, and this idea. And I did it, and did it very quickly, and it appeared to be a great success. I got a lot of emails and texts and calls about it. When's the next one? But then I started pulling together people who jumped in, to help that day, and I asked for help myself. But first, before I could do that, you have to know how to ask. You have to understand how and what they want to help with, and what they have time for. Some of it's ideas, it's just direct asks. I can be that type of person. It's like, okay, just tell me something you need or someone you need to connect with, and I could do that. So some of it is connections, support, etc. It's all different on who and or how people can help you. But building your team, your quote-unquote tribe, it takes understanding, paying attention, watching, getting off that damn crazy train, and noticing. I've been preaching about that, just pausing, stepping off the train, and seeing who's around you and how they're showing up in your life. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but when I'm writing these podcasts, I base it off of last week, and then it just kind of builds itself. And sometimes it's about what I'm going through or have gone through. So as I was writing this, the list podcast, I started thinking about what it is and how I had connected that with the Taboo Luncheon. So with the next one, the Taboo Luncheon coming up on June 23rd, I asked for help from those people who I stopped and thought about, who jumped in, who helped, who can help. But I made a list of what I needed help with, what I felt was missing. Could be connections, could be manpower, could be money, could be whatever, and how the event could be better. I asked each of those people what they thought about the event and what we could do better, because I'm only one person. My connections are limited. They may be vast, but they're still limited. So I made a list, and I'm still learning, because even the process, 2 weeks out from the event, someone on the committee, so to speak, made a suggestion. And I was like, oh, man, I had forgotten about that. I had actually dismissed it because it wasn't on the list this time. When it was just me last time, I felt like one of the things I did didn't work. But that was because it was just me. I was limited. But now that I have a team, one item would have worked really well, would have been helpful. So I've already written it down in the folder for next time. You see, I forgot. And I didn't mention it because alone it didn't work. But with a team, with a tribe, with help, it would have been very, very helpful and it would have expanded things. But that's okay. So now you make the list, whether it's for a project, personal, professional, whether it's for your business in general, your goals, dreams, aspirations. Again, like I said earlier, we achieve our goals by following the plan, by creating the plan and doing that. So it's the same thing, making a list. Get it out of your head and then stop. Yes, pause, look around. Notice who's in your life and how they're showing up and how they can help you, how they can help you acquire what you need or what's missing. And if it's people that you need or that's missing from your life, we definitely need to talk sooner rather than later. But ask them. It's like you're creating a personal board of directors to help you because you cannot do it all. Much like these podcasts, the huge increase in downloads came from me asking for help. No one knew I wanted to increase my listenership. No one knew I wanted them to start sharing until I asked. And I actually just had that conversation with someone. I'm like, did you know I wanted you to share? And she was like, no, I didn't even think about it. So these awesome people in my life had no idea what I needed or wanted help with until I asked. So this week, email me, sballard@growingforward.biz, post here in the comment section. Make another damn list. Yes, make a list of who you can ask for help. But you got to know what's missing and what you need so they know how to help. And you got to ask them. What are their capabilities? What do they want to help you do? Like I said, I have one person that, I could sit there and get frustrated all night long that it's like, is she helping, not helping, what's she doing? But she's like me. Just give her a task. As soon as I said, hey, I need connected to this person, boom, it was done. It's fantastic. She also has a lot of great ideas, but for this one particular thing. So, again, that's this week. Noticing who's around you, who's in your life, and how you're going to ask them to help you. But you have to have your list of what's missing and what you need first. And again, if you can't figure it out, get off your ass and contact me for a strategy session. Yes, we can do them for out of state as well. Because during those strategy sessions, we do make lists. And if you're intrigued by this taboo luncheon for women on June 23rd, email me. Or it's on my website, growingforward.biz. On the Connect With Me page, there's a little tab, or a little calendar actually, for upcoming events and workshops, and it's on there. You can email me at sballard@growingforward.biz. And why don't we just schedule a strategy session so we can make those lists? Yes, check them twice and get you back on the road to success. All right? Have a great week. I'll see you back here next week. Cheers.